Welcome back, everyone, and what a crazy, exciting series we got to witness there. B plus Choke taking on two Rusty, one Bratwurst, and B plus Choke, of course, going through as a first team to our grand final. I'm Muzz, and joined in the booth, Oxy. How you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing great. I was watching that first series and it was genuinely spectacular. Both teams played well. It looked like there was going to be a fight back at the end, but not quite. So we already have, of course, one grand finalist confirmed. That is B plus Choke. We'll be deciding the second one in the match. Just come in here, Muzz. What do you think about this one?
I mean, yeah, phenomenal stuff there. If we now take a look at this series, sorry, Oxy, Hamood taking on Up the Dell. Hamood, I think, having a nice run yesterday because they, of course, had the first DQ win against Oofstones and then beat as well two Rusty, one Bratwurst. I think two Rusty, one Bratwurst kind of maybe licking their wounds a little bit overall this weekend. But of course, they're going through here to our playoffs against Up the Dale. Which was the first series that you and I did? Did we get at least see one of these two teams? And which ones?
Not. We did Phonics on Phono versus
that's right.
Versus Irrelevant Purple. That's it. Who then lost to? I believe they then lost to B plus Choke. So we've seen a continuation of that. I believe you've seen B plus Choke before today anyway. So again, we know what there is in the final. We've seen how dangerous that team can be. It's just a matter of can they shape up to it, basically. Will either of these two be able to compete? Of course, the grand final, there's 210 euros overall. Winning this match gets you 60, and then winning the finals gets you 150 overall, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. I believe we're ready to go here as well. So the players joining their teams, revving their engines, and no doubt going to be an absolutely brilliant series of best of 7 here.
Yeah, well, here we go. So Hamood taking on Up the Dale. Of course, Up the Dale getting here through a lower bracket run as well. So I mean, kudos to them fighting that good fight and getting through that away. But yeah, let's get the game on. Of course, we have Aero, Pauses Mode, and Lexa playing for this Hamood side. You know, they seem to be doing some decent things yesterday. Of course, easier win through again via Oofstones, and but regardless, they made it through to this semis, Oxy, and I think we should be able to see if they can carry on with that momentum and beat this Up the Dale side.
Oh, exactly, yeah. They made it here eventually, and that's what matters, but they're being absolutely peppered at the start. 5 shots in 30 seconds there. We've seen at least a shot from everyone on Hamood, and I mean, Up the Dale, they're going to need to want to strike back here. They're going to want that first goal, just to prove that they are in this game, really. They're not just going to be tossed around.
Oh, no, definitely. That's not going to be the case. As Fiddy P tries to go and bring it over Possum Mode, decent little flick over one. Aero, though, pumping it out, and Fiddy P again there to pick it up. And so Up the Dale here, trying to get some pressure on into the blue half, but that doesn't seem to be happening here. Possum Mode is going to be going up there, pushes it towards the ceiling, gets it over one nice little pinch from the wall onto the outside. But Mr. Messi, one of the decent players from the weekend and yesterday, doing so incredibly well with Imp. And so that duo on the side of Up the Dell can be dangerous, and so Hamood are going to have to look out for that early shot, and there can there be a double toucher from Aero. Nothing coming out from Monkey, and so back to a 0-0 so far. Yeah, Oxy.
It's looking great from both teams, actually. We've seen some good attempts at passing plays from the Up the Dale teams, but first goal there going to Hamood. They've had the pressure here. They've had, 7 shots now in only a minute 40. Absolutely phenomenal. They've been playing great, and I believe Lexa actually might have had some physicality there on the player at the back, just showing that they have presence no matter where they are on the pitch. And they take the first goal, they'll take the lead, and looking to gain on that, no doubt. We're yet to see a shot from Up the Dale. They're gonna want to work something out, really string any sort of passing play together, because that seems to be what they're prioritizing here.
Yeah, and when you think that there are 7 shots on the side of the Hamood team and nothing coming out from Up the Dell, I mean, that is not how you want to start game number 1 yet. But of course, we're looking at a potential best of 7 though, Oxys. I mean, a lot of time left for Up the Dell. They definitely don't have to feel too pressured right now. It's also not really a blowout of a game 1. Only 1 goal from those 7 shots, so not really on point coming out from this Hamood side. But that's fine. They've got the lead at this moment as Aero pushes it out wide. Nice little contested from Mr. Messi, and Lexa at the back there, just getting a very slow touch to the midfield. Feddy P takes a shot. He's going to get kept up by Aero.
It's great though. We are seeing Up the Dale again. They've now got 2 shot both coming from Fiddy P, but they're all applying the pressure. They're all putting some sort of pressure press on Hamood as once more they'll be on the backline. Mr. Messi's shot going to be off the bar, but only just forces mode. Great save there, reaching for that. Impetus going to put that mid as well, but diving Fiddy P won't reach Mr. Messi. Now, again, just off the backboard, dumping it into the box, but staved away easy enough. And these taps, these clears, just booming it into the box, putting any sort of pressure on the defense. Hamood, they're looking to struggle, but they've managed to get it out. And now Lexa wanting to stay with this, misses, and Impetus sent out there. That's a great back pass, actually. Forces Mode cutting it out. Mr. Messi and Impetus getting a bit caught up, and again, Up the Dale looking for their next chance.
Yeah, Fiddy P trying to take that one down the flank. Nothing happening as we get a double demo here as Posimo takes out. Wow, there we go. Allows Fiddy P to slot that one in when you got a very brief 2 versus 2.
And that's great. I think we've now seen in the last 6 shots, 5 of them have been from Up the Dale. They're applying pressure. They've all got saves. They've all got shots. And now, as a team, they have like, oh, they've tied it up. You know, we mentioned, oh, potentially it might come down to who has the most shots. It's not looking like a blowout, and now it's not. It's a tied game. There's only actually 2 shots in it in terms of the scoreboard. So it's looking like maybe just a slow start, and Up the Dale, they definitely have potential when it comes to growing on gaining the lead back and then pushing it even further down. Aero wanting to boom this into the box, and nearly the double touch off the sidewall. Unfortunately, not going to be denied there, and Mr. Messi staying with it again. Not much boost, but enough to just get a touch out the way. Impetus to the sidewall. Can't read that initially, but instead just gets a small touch there. Aero putting it towards net, and that's not quite sniped in. Instead, Forces Mode looking for the rebound again. Going to be out. Fiddy P, great clearance. Lexa Mode can stay with this, and again, the double tap not quite coming in there. Impetus, the attempt is there, but blocked by Aero, and it's been great back and forth so far. It's really hard to sort of hit one team as the more dominant in this first game.
No, just both his teams holding onto the ball incredibly well. Then I kind of feel bad for Arrows. He does slam into that near post earlier. Just, not really getting it into the side of the net as he would like to have. And, we're getting down to the last half minute of regulation time, and both his teams firing as Arrow takes another shot. They in with a decent save. Up the Dale. Slow start for sure, Oxy. I mean, they definitely were nowhere in the first minute and a half of this game. And just as the business end, came to, they definitely picked up their socks. They're doing so incredibly well. Fiddy P, who seemed to have had a much slower weekend, and just when you look at Friday and Saturday, wasn't really all there, is having a phenomenal game 1, just taking shot after shot. Porsa Mode, though, should be able to clinch game 1 with that goal.
And yeah, that's how you want to do it, really. A nice play. Lexa not quite getting that. Porsa is there exactly where he's needed by his team. Puts that home as easy as you like it, and with only 4 seconds left, you assume they've got this. It'd need practically a miracle for Up the Dale to take it, but they've pulled back shots, maybe a goal here as well as on the cards. Instead, Forces up to the ceiling. Aero getting the touch and just looks to put that down. Will put it down, and Hamood take this first game in excellent fashion. They were very dominant the first 100 seconds. I was really thinking, will we even see Up the Dale take, a game in this series, let alone a goal? And they've shown now that they can fight back. Hamood looking dominant, though. They'll want to continue this in exactly the same fashion, of course.
Yeah, I mean, incredible start already for a series when you think kind of it came out firing like that. Hamood doing so incredibly well, had all the shots, about 7-0 there in that first 2 minutes of game time, and then Fiddy P coming back doing so incredibly well for Up the Dale. Yeah, they lose by 1 goal, but it's only 1 goal, right, in a potential best of 7. I mean, a lot of time for Up the Dale to come back. We've seen Mr. Messi play, we've seen him play. We know that this duo can do incredible things, backed up by Fiddy P, who even seemed to be more of a main character in this game 1 when we take a look at the scorelines there. Mr. Messi not doing as well as he could have. And Hamood, I think, getting through with skill, but also getting through with a bit of luck. They enjoying, I think, the whole run through this Winter Cup. Yeah, they beat 2 Rusty 1 Bradwards. That went all the way to game 5, by the way. And so, are Up the Dale going to be able to push a very long series here from Hamood? Are they going to be able to close it out maybe sooner than that? Maybe we get the, a 4-0 here, Oxywell. We're going to have to see. I don't know if there was a standout player on Hamood for you. Do you think one of them really seals the deal on that side?
I think looking at that first game, points-wise, score-wise, and just in general how they stood out, there was no actual standout player. Not that they were bad, but as a team they worked well. They were all doing something at various points, and not just for Hamood, for Up the Dale, for the entire pitch. It's not like there's one player that has stood out yet. I think it's more, we may see that player in game 2, game 3. That's really when someone will make a stand-up performance. Mr. Messi not quite making that there as he misses, and instead, yeah, this is where you want to strike, where you want to prove that you deserve to be that MVP of the match, the player that puts your team forward to those finals. As that one's going to pinch to the midfield. Mr. Messi again staying with this, but taken away by Aero relatively easily actually, and now Impetus, nice touch up to the side wall, but chooses to leave, just wants to conserve boost and wants to make sure his team's in the best possible position when they launch this counter attack.
Yeah, and Poor says they're kind of just throwing a weak ball towards the goal. Nice little beat by Aero, and just, up the Dell, not able to try to get the ball out of their own 1/3 Mr. Messi. Playing it from the corner, now Mr. Messi picking up again. Hamood, they're able to push it out. And up the Dell, you can see them struggling to get over this halfway line here. It's just Hamood blocking them at every single chance. Double! Almost there from Aero. Oh my goodness. Yeah, wow, Impetus, they're doing phenomenal work. Now Mr. Messi pushing it out wide.
And it's a much better, first minute really to the game. Only 2 shots from Hamood registered. That's the first up to Dale as well. Both teams showing that they can form. No one yet to really get that breakthrough. There was obviously one chance we saw 20 seconds ago, but the players from up the Dale, they kept composed. They knew what they had to do, and they made sure that they actually did it. And Mr. Messi's shot going to be only just high and wide, avoiding the upper 90. Instead, off the sidewall is Aero, who wants to get this round. Porsa will be there and slotted away. A minute and a half in, and Porsas can put this one in and put his team up by 1. Yet again, that's all they won by last game. Maybe that's all they need to secure this game too.
Oh, and just the beat. I think there was Mr. Messi or Imp at the back there for up the Dale. Aero finding Porsas mode in the midfield. Beautiful touch on there. And just Hamood having a decent time getting the opening goal yet again, and from the previous game. Oh, Hamood taking the shot there from out wide. And so just Hamood showing us how phenomenal they are at Rocket League. Just playing so incredibly well here, Oxy. They seem to find each other. The passes are clean. They don't take any kind of weird shots. They make sure it's clinical. They make sure they drive it home when they get those opportunities, and they definitely aren't shooting too wide as we've seen a lot of teams do this past weekend. So kudos to them. Imp though,
that's a great one, really. Just again showing being there when you need, and you see Fiddy not quite muscling that one through. Instead can show a nice piece of mechanical work and good awareness, getting round that ball exactly as you need, putting that top corner, and that's slotted away. And now we have a tied game yet again. It's been very back and forth, as I've been mentioning the entire series. 4 shots each and only a couple saves. It's looking dangerous as Lexa wants to push that one downfield. Instead, Mr. Messi has possession and has the flick as well over now. Forces to the side, and Lexa maybe downfield for the reception. Just wants to palm that one off the corner. Aero with the shot, and we're going to see Mr. Messi stranded on the goal line. Fiddy P and Imp unable to help him. And another goal will go in for Hamood. With half the game remaining, it's still only 1 goal, and it's very easy to come back from this. It's just a matter of, do Up the Dale have that ability to fight back and prove that they deserve to be where they've got to in this competition?
Yeah, and Mr. Messi just caught on that near post. They just, I think the attacker was coming in and said, fine, you're kind of a bit way too up for the way I'm going to shoot. And he goes for that back right-hand corner. And so, yeah, Mr. Messi got left by the team a bit wanton in the back, and of course Hamood now extending their lead, picking up another one. What a beautiful goal. I mean, it just seems like everyone on the team is able to find each other, and now that was poor Hamood saying, I'm going to be able to slot that one home. And Hamood making the series look pretty fun for themselves. They're just doing incredible things here. Of course, we cannot count out, of course, this Up the Dale side here. Fiddy P being able to feed the team. He took the shot there, was not successful, but I think feeding Mr. Messi and Imp seems to be that role that Fiddy seems to be taking. As you mentioned earlier, not really able to bully their way into the back of the net, but definitely enabling the other two.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's great to see teams again at this level. You keep the composure. You're not sort of worrying about anything. You can have that player that is there, isn't that midfield will link everyone else together. Obviously, there's only 3 players, but you need to link everyone together because that is how you beat teams. What an excellent fake, and that does go in. I'm so glad because now we get to see it on replay again. It's going to be demoralizing, of course, for Imp to have to see this, but that's amazing. And managing to do that, heat of the moment, this sort of pressure. And it still pans out like that. And yeah, that was beautiful. It works. They're now up by 2, biggest lead we've seen in this entire series so far.
Yeah, Porsas mode, they beaten too, right? Nice little solo play down that flank, and just said, you know, I'm going to try snuff the hopes and dreams of these two defenders and see what I can do. Fitty P trying to get the double touch there, doesn't manage to pull it off. Imp there from the corner, and Aero and Hamood there just double committed to making sure that this up the Dale side does not get any quick counter attack. Fitty P trying to do something. Mr. Me runs in there, gets slams himself into the back of the net, and then, you know, nothing comes from it. And so I think just a bit more kind of clinicalness from this up the Dale side here. Let's find some passing plays. Let's maybe slow up the momentum a little bit, maybe 1-2 before we shoot. And Mr. Messi kind of just a result of impatience there, and just, you know, not really controlling the ball and throwing bodies into the back of the net where there was, you know, I don't know if there really was much intention from that last maneuver from up the Dell. But, you know, anyway, Hamood up by 2. It does look like Oxley should be able to hold on to this one.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, 15 seconds now, going to 10 seconds, 2-goal lead. It should be easy enough. And this isn't, again, this is more customary, purely for Up the Dale to play out. But we might see actually Hamood looking for that fourth goal, just to add on the stress and pressure for the next game, because we're going to see Up the Dale know that they need to perform now. They need to win this next game, because obviously you can reverse sweep. It's possible. Even in the Monaco gaming show that's on right now, there's been 2 reverse sweeps in best of 7s with pro teams. You know, it's possible. It's just very difficult. And if you're not at that level, you know, you don't have that mentality, it's going to be hard. And if you don't know how to counter that, and you don't know how to deal with that in your head, that, I think, is going to be the biggest weakness. Up the Dale have proven that they can go toe-to-toe with Hamood. They can have the same amount of shots. They can get good saves as well. They can score when it needs to be, like when the goal actually needs to go in to, you know, tie the game or give them a chance. But if they can do that under pressure, then they actually have a chance of winning the series. If they can't, that's where they'll falter. But that's really the question that's going to be asked, and it will be answered in this next game, I believe. If Hamood win this next game, I feel like game 4 again is purely customary and purely something that they'll be playing out for the sake of it.
Yeah, I kind of like what Imp's doing here, just stalling to ready up a little bit. So I think that Up the Dale can get a couple comms in that Discord call and say, you know, like, hey guys, what's happening here? You know, how do we kind of control this Hamood side? Because we're obviously allowing them into the back of our net a lot. You know, we're kind of flailing at the back. We impatient on our attacks. And so, you know, we ready. Spectators are ready, chat's ready, but I like the players stalling just a little bit, making sure that we can get a couple, you know, comms in. What do I do? How do I make sure that we block this kind of onslaught coming out from Hamood, because they're doing exceptional work on that front. And I don't know, kind of Oxy, what do you think needs to be done? Maybe a few demos, maybe blocking out Aero or Porsa mode?
I mean, I think that it genuinely comes down to stopping the best players from another team is difficult. In terms of reading them in midfield and cutting that off, it's hard. Demoing is also hard. I think that we need... Okay, it's worked now. I feel like they haven't really changed anything. Maybe that, you know, that 60 seconds they took in between games did help. But I think for me, continuing this game and this series, they need to slow it down. Not just when they have the ball, but in defense. Which sounds counterintuitive, of course, but they have been rushing at the ball. They've been trying to keep speed up, and it works for some teams. It genuinely does. But when you have someone who, I think on this team, Mr. Messi, might not be able to keep up with the speed, he hasn't had many points, which obviously is a big indicator. But he hasn't had as many points. It sort of shows he can't always keep up with the game. If they slow it down, everyone's playing at his speed, everyone can get with the ball, and that means he's not left out of the conversation when it comes to actually, you know, having time on the ball and making plays. It's completely up to them how they do it, but I feel like some sort of change needs to happen, and they're definitely going to be trying something this game.
1 minute elapsing here as we start game number 3, and Aero beaten there by Fitty P and Mr. Messi trying to get in on the action. And Mr. Messi, as you mentioned, just maybe needing to get the rest of the team on his pace and try slow things down a little bit, as we have seen previously, the impatience that can be shown by the Up the Dale side here. Imp trying to push the ball towards that goal line with a decent aerial mechanical control. Fitty P there from that corner, and again we see Imp and Fitty P just doing incredible work here for this Up the Dale side, where it gets rounded out by Mr. Messi, and the ball goes back into that corner. Fitty P able to block it out there. And this game actually being quite incredibly slower at this moment, kind of as we inch towards the mid game. Definitely just back and forth banter between both these sides. No one really, you know, trying to take charge. And of course we do know there is Up the Dale here with an early lead, and that's fantastic for them. As Hamood, we know how they can score Oxy, and I think, you know, they could pop off at any given time.
Oh yeah, they've scored at least one in each game. It may be more this game, and of course that's what they'll be aiming for. It's just about making sure they stay composed, and when they have a tied game or they have a lead, like in this situation, they keep calm under pressure, because we will see Hamood pile on that pressure. They'll get 7 shots in about 12 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So if Updale can stay calm under that pressure and can then push the ball out and work smart when they have that opportunity, I have no doubt that they could take a game or two, maybe even the series, but it's going to need to start now, and Forster's not quite able to convert that one. Instead, PDP leaving this to Imp, who wants to go around the first defender. Aero striking early and instead reaching out, and I'm going to see a bit of confusion on the goal line. I think that's a triple commit somehow from Updale, but they land in favourable positions and once more re-establish their rotations. Forster's downfield in his own corner, wants to just work this one out from the back instead. Forced to Lexa, who booms this upfield, wants to chase it himself, and again, bit of mix up there between players. We'll see another attack mount here as with the last 120 seconds in this game are left.
Yeah, and that double commit earlier that allowed FDP to score, maybe a bit uncommon from the Hamood side. We know they kind of or maybe so unused to seeing this Updale side shoot and score that they just were desperate for almost like a 2.5 commit at the back. Hamood takes the shot in with a decent save. Almost the equalizer there for Hamood, and not able to slot that one home. And now Hamood also getting the demo onto Impetus as Mr. Messi, trying to get it into a very precarious position for Hamood, and nothing coming from it. Mr. Messi getting demoed there by Hamood as well. So Hamood, I think, picking up already the second demo, just doing the work that I think we want to see Updale doing. And there it is, Imp able to sink that one.
This is what they need. They're now having Imp with 4 saves now, also a shot, assisted the last goal, and now has this. They're proving that they can do brilliant things. They're working together as units throughout the entire field. In midfield, they will never have someone push too far up, but there'll be someone there, waiting around in case there's a stray ball and they can just pounce on it. In defense, they're making sure they get the rotations established after double commit, after just the general defensive mistake. And in offense, they're working out where they need to be, and they're making it work. They have enough boost to make sure that they can make the plays they actually want to, create. And when that happens, it's working, and they're passing plays. That's what we're seeing here again. FDP slotting that one, not quite in, bouncing off the crossbar. Twice Aero getting to that. It's looking great for them. They should be able to hit this game. I say should. I don't want to curse anything. Unless Lexa here can put this into the corner, and Imp wants to boom it out. Porsa may have doomed his own team, looking for the double tap into his own net. Unorthodox, but not quite going to work out.
I mean, Updale have definitely got the grit to come back, when they're down 2 games in a series. Of course, we saw them make a lower bracket losers run. And so Updale, they know how to dig deep, and I think they can definitely, contest against a Hamood side like this. And, they're not too worried about being down, as Impetus slots it in with a second and putting a third on for the team. Well, that should be able to secure game number 3.
12 seconds, 3 goals. I'm going to say they've won this game, no doubts about it. Purely because I want to see if that can cursor and we do get an overtime. I don't think so. They've played brilliantly this game, and it's a deserved win, really. Hamood, I don't even think they've sort of taken their foot off the gas. They just haven't really had many very impressive showings, and FDP might be able to get second there, not quite, and instead, we're going to see here Impetus actually drop an 800-plus point game. Not quite the 1,000, but very impressive. 7 centered shot this game, which, isn't the biggest thing, but proving that he's always there. He's creating opportunities. He's got shots, and he's also actually on the finishing end of those. Unfortunately, they couldn't put in more, but the mood of being shot out. First shutout we see this series is for the team that's actually down. So it may just be something that they want to look at and think, we can take this. They'll obviously be grateful that they can take this game now and they don't have to reverse sweep. And with the momentum that they have from this, it's looking like they can definitely take, the game 4 really and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, Updale just had such decent control of the ball. When you take a look at him, would only been allowed 4 shots in 5 minutes. I mean, Updale just completely controlled this field. A different outfit we've seen kind of from them in the previous 2 games. Yeah, they lost Mr. Messi. Again, kind of the 188. So 3 games in a row being the lowest scorer. I don't think that's really going to matter. I think kind of Mr. Messi is just playing quietly, just getting passing plays to Impetus and Fiddy P when needed. And you know, maybe if it comes down to a game 7, or if it's a very dire kind of OT situation, you know, then Mr. Messi can do something, you know, rabbit out of the hat, Oxy. But I think it's okay for Up the Dale right now. You know, it's 2-1 overall series score. You know, Up the Dale definitely have it in them to tie this up and even leapfrog ahead, and that would be fantastic. You know, game 7, maybe it's going to happen this evening. We love to see it, and that's what these kind of semi-finals and finals weekends are all about at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely. I think, you know, if Up the Dale can win this, which it's looking like they could, you know, I obviously haven't seen anything in this game that suggests who's going to win. It's very early, but it's a nice shot. But, you know, game 7, obviously preferred. And if Mr. Messi is lower scoring in 7 games in a row, but they win, I'm sure they won't complain. But never mind. Might not go to 7 here as Lexa already putting in the first 18 seconds in. And again, good positioning. Fiddy P, unfortunately, had the 50 just absolutely taken away from him. Lexa striking. Mr. Messi was there, couldn't quite reach for that, and instead doesn't get the save or the deflection. And Imp on the kickoff going to get demoed. Fiddy, again, just wants to stay with this, wants to work it out somehow, taking it slowly, and that's going to pinch actually very fast. Off the side once more, pauses now with this. Lexa will be on the receiving end, and we'll see a stagnant arrow in the midfield, gonna wait, and that's actually boomed all the way downfield, and that might just not be in, actually. Never mind. Top corner and denied, looking very promising. And Arrow realized his mistake. You know, my teammate is passing it, the other one is in goal trying to go for a demo, and I'm here. It's over my head. I better back it up. So good awareness, unfortunately just a bit too late.
Yeah, Fiddy P probably feeling miffed about that one. You thought that was going to be able to slot it home. But when you send it an end-to-end field goal like that, you know, accuracy is not going to be the biggest thing on your side. And just going slightly wide and hitting that right-hand post, unfortunately not able to pick up a goal there for Up the Dale. But of course, you know, we still have Hamood here now, finally, with the lead, you know, in another game. This is something we're kind of used to seeing them do, as we're going to get the ball pushed forward. They're stopped on the midway line in our Lexa mode. Pushing it out there, but Mr. Messi being that third man at the back, just trying to stop them. Poster with the shot. Triple commit. Oh, mercy.
That's going to do it to you, really. You know, the triple commit against a team like this. Portsmouth, great shot. I'm going to give it to him. I think he meant to put it there, obviously on goal, but in the middle of those defenders, probably looking to, 1, find the gap, and 2, maybe get a double commit if he can. But he gets the triple, and again, we'll just see a nice, easy goal. Lexa following up, easy as you like it, and now a 2-goal lead with only 9 seconds gone. It's looking very promising for Hamood in this 4th game.
Oh, okay. It was the best nice battle there. Yeah, finally,
yeah.
I think that's going to pick up those points that have been lacking throughout the
highest score in the lobby.
Yeah. I want to ask you there quickly, Orcs. You know, a triple commit. What do you say about that? Is it a bit of a desperation from the team, or kind of why do you end up in such a kind of a awkward position like that?
I think in that scenario, I don't think you can really blame the goal on the triple commit, because if you're in that scenario, and okay, Mr. Messi is showing absolute wondrous skills here, but if you're in that scenario and it was only you in one of the 3 positions, you would commit. It wasn't sort of a desperation goal line attempt, more than it was just an attempt on the goal line. I feel like it was positioning beforehand that led to that issue, and the rotations have looked very, very good from Up the Dale. Unfortunately, not quite panning out right now. And 2 minutes down, Imp only has 32 points, going 800 down from last time, and wants to boom this one out. Aero keeping it controlled, instead just wanting, that's going to be over actually. Fiddy P caught into action on the goal line. Imp avoiding the demo as well, and the destruction and the confusion really that Hamood are causing and attempting to cause at the very least they're working. It's putting the Up the Dale squad in not the best position, to say at least, and they're scrambling. Mr. Messi getting to this and somehow finding some new colours now. More points than he had in the last 3 games combined, I'm pretty sure, in this one alone.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the case of Mr. Messi. Probably feeling awfully chuffed that, you know, the contribution being given to this Up the Dale side. Well, it's 4 goals here, of course, on our scoreboard, and, you know, Hamood probably feeling like, what the hell happened there? That they could just slip 2 in so quickly like that. And now Portsmouth taking a shot from the right-hand side, getting kept out by Messi. So Mr. Messi definitely doing wondrous things in game number 4 for this Up the Dale side. You have, of course, 2 minutes left of this regulation time as Lexa takes a shot. They're going to be kept up by Fiddy P. Ball's loose there. It's going to go wide. And now, of course, oh, nice double commit there. And that's going to call out. Impetus, decent save. Arrow, though, that second man in the field, not able to slot it home there. Oxy, oh, nice, again, has another attempt, and of course, shut out.
Oh yeah, Hamood, they've had so much more offensive pressure because they're taking to the air time after time, and that, you know, you're in the air, you don't have to follow up a shot, you can just put it on net, go for boost, and while you're getting boost, your opponent is actually just, you know, in the air, wasting theirs. That's a great attempt there again from Arrow, I believe, who has shown up this entire series, not necessarily as the one player who is making all the flashy plays, but just being there when he's needed, and it's working great for him. This one again, boom downfield. Mr. Messi now with double the points of anyone in the lobby nearly. Oh, okay, not quite. But basically, more points than anyone in the lobby by a substantial amount, and it's scary the improvement we're seeing from him. I don't know if it's Smurf or he just ate something in between, you know, but it's working out for them. And Imp, nearly with the double tap, can actually put that in, never mind top corner. And we're now seeing up the Dale. I believe that's 3 goals unanswered now. And they're looking scary. They have 1 less shot than Hamood, but 1 more goal, and that's all that matters at the end. They have 1 minute and 1 second to keep this under control and make sure they keep this lead or extend it. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I know 100%. I think this kind of up the Dell side we've seen in game number 4. Oxy just absolutely, they've come out firing. You know, their foot is well down on the pedal. You know, they're just so, you know, ready to try bring this back and kind of claw back a victory, which looked like the jaws, you know, from the jaws of defeat there. I want to kind of say Imp's, you know, double touch of that backboard read was so beautiful. Just, you know, he still had a nice little kind of couple turns, little aerial play there, you know, before getting the second touch on that. I mean, I think that's up the Dell side. You have definitely just picked things up, you know, immensely. You know, kind of games 2, I mean 1, 2, and 3 just wasn't really their day, and now all of a sudden it's like, wow.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But I want to give credit to Portas though. Just there in that play, he got the pass off, and then he went full speed. You know, supersonic after the pass, which was perfectly placed for the demo. Didn't quite work out, unfortunately. We did see, oh, that's nearly in. We did see FiddyP get under it and get the save, but the attempt was there. They're being aware of the opponents. You know, there was like 1 man back. Let's just go for him, eliminate. Again, gets the demo there and looking for another just as the game draws to a close. 0 seconds. The ball hasn't hit the ground yet, though. It's still possible. Instead, there it goes up the Dale. They've now tied up the series from a point where it was win this next game or we have to reverse sweep to now it being if we win this next game, we have match point, we have grand final point, and we're about to go to that point if, you know, you can't do anything about this, because they have looked more dominant. The first half of this game, Hamood, definitely hands down. They knew what was up and they managed to exploit up the Dale's few mistakes, but it always seems every game up the Dale. They just grow more and more, and that may be the same in the series as well. Rough first half really, and now as we get into the back end of this, they're looking insane.
Yeah, I mean, this up the Dell side definitely picking up the momentum, doing bigger things than what we've seen throughout the first 3 games from them. And Hamood there, you know, only going down by 1. I mean, it's not really too much. You know, Portas they're having a quieter game. Still 3 shots though coming out. I mean, I think just, you know, they were testing the up the Dell side a lot more when you look at the amount of saves that came out there, right? 9 saves. They had to just, you know, get back a lot quick on their defensive rotations. I think they're doing such phenomenal work there. FiddyP doing such decent grinding work at the back then. So, you know, it's tough to say, because when we look at the kind of define this and it's B plus choke, and we say, well, which one of these 2 teams might be actually the stronger one to play against them, you might say Hamood. But if Up the Dell do go through, kudos to them. They are fighting tooth and nail to get into that final, and I think they're going to give B plus choke a good run for the money if that is the case. But, you know, of course, a couple more games here left, Oxy. So, you know, let's see what's going to happen. And already there's more smoke to the opener.
Yeah, it's, you know, we're talking about the grand finals, who's harder to play, who might be the best opponent you want to face off of. The people on this pitch are insane, and they're proving it now. You know, they're saying, don't worry about whatever, half an hour from now. Worry about now, because we are showing off that we are genuinely, like, amazing at this game, and it's looking so incredible the way they're stringing this together. Imp not quite on the end of that FiddyP, instead just cleaning it up, but Forces taking control, and Lexa now wanting to stay with this. That's past Central, but FiddyP is going to be there. Lexa, great demo, and we might see an opportunity here arise. Arrow staying with this one more tap, and that's not going to be in on target. Mr. Messi Great save, great reading of the game. Another good 50 from him too, and he works it downfield. The bump over there, Pauses mode looking absolutely like as physical as you can get, really. And now he's demoed, but that doesn't matter. Lexa mode, the shot and the demo, the follow-up. It's gonna be a dirty game, I can tell you that much.
Oh man, just Aero there just did so phenomenally well to keep that ball out. Also previously trying to get that shot on. Second touch was beautiful. I think the defense of Up the Dell has definitely been ramped up. Yes, they seem to still be catching themselves a bit too and sometimes triple committed in the net, which might cost them a bit, and depends what the team comms is going to look like. But for the most part, they've picked up their socks. They've missed a message and phenomenal work there at the back. I think they got the double save goal years on the side as well in the previous game. So, definitely bigger things coming out from this Up the Dell side, which is fantastic, but still trailing by 1 year. Hopefully for not too long, as FDP does push it to the midway. Imp continuing the trajectory here. Can they get +1? Lexer. Okay, nothing coming from it. FDP in the center, trying to get the double touch, going to push it out to the corner.
That attempt was great, though. Well, sorry, the stopping that attempt was great because FDP had to do something about that from the past from Imp. But Mr. Messi, who was actually, would have been in a great position, was demoed. And again, it's just showing the physicality. It pays off. And maybe a couple of attempts it didn't earlier. Pauses mode can slot this one just out of harm's way and dumps it back to him. FDP wants to stay with it and demoed once more. Pauses mode holding that boost button down and just wants to show that he's there, has that pitch presence. And I think that's important, really. Because you asked me after game one, who's looking the best? Who's looking like they know what they're doing, and they're the most dominant? And it was a 1-goal game, and I had no answer, and I still don't. Aero making a good case again that it could become top scoring in this lobby, and putting in a stint here. Lexa, that's a great pass, good awareness, and an absolute blitzer of a shot. He now puts his team up by 2.
And it's funny to see that Pauses mode, they would have been very close to getting a steal as well. And even if that ball maybe went to post or something kind of did not happen correctly for Hamood there, I think Pauses mode would have been able to get the third touch and score for them. So yeah, is it a fight between Aero and Pauses mode? Quite possibly. I think both these players doing phenomenally well here for this Hamood side as they got up by 1 more, so 2-0 in our game number 5 here, and we passed the halfway mark. Oh, FDP not able to slot that one home, kept out by Lexa mode, and yeah, now Up the Dell, not repeating what we had from game 4 as Aero tries to take the shot in there. Lexa mode coming in hot from the corner, now all of a sudden going at 130 is this Hamood side. Imp from the halfway, Pauses mode there to get the block, and it's going to fall down into the blue corner. Imp is there, Pauses mode though keeps it out. Mr. Messi, that's not going to go in. And Lexa with the long ball. FDP with a decent save.
It's I feel like from this game, looking at stats, looking at who's just been playing well, Hamood look like they should be dominating this series, but we've seen Up the Dale show in moments that they need to perform. They do, but it seems, positioning in terms of being there on defense, being there on offense, Hamood have that. But mechanical, Hamood also have that. I'm not really sure how Up the Dale have managed to compete. They have. I'm genuinely dumbfounded, not necessarily by the fact that Up the Dale have done this, but more that I feel Hamood should be further ahead in terms of the performance that they've been putting in. It looks great, and that's going to be a whiff. A good team pinch there, getting it downfield, putting it in a good position. Lexa actually gets the boost, and then attacks the ball here. Forced down to the corner again. A nice infield pass attempt from Imp, but cut away. And I'm looking at this. This looks like the series is Hamood's to lose, genuinely, just based off of this game and how it's impacted the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I think it definitely would be Hamood's to lose. They should be able to close this out 4-2. But of course, Up the Dell have been able to do crazy things and surprise us. They just won the previous game by 3 goals. I mean, 2 coming off Mr. Messi. He had such a quiet series up until that time. And so, Up the Dell have it in them. They just need to do it more often. And so I think it's that consistency that's kind of lacking on their side. These games are kind of hot and cold for them. And, we definitely seen a nice game of leapfrog between both of these sides here. As the clock ticks down already, the series seems to be flying past us, Hawksy, as Hamood will be winning this game by 2-0. So, my goodness, already heading to game 6.
Oh yeah,
and
we're one game away, potentially one goal away, who knows how it will end up, from seeing Hamood in the final and Up the Dale eliminated, of course. You know, single elim tourney at this point, you really can't do much about it. We're going to need to see him step up. And Imp actually not very impressive in this game. I didn't see much from any of the Up the Dale players that impressed me, but him in particular, because we've seen him do some spectacular things this series, he just hasn't, and I don't know how to describe it. We need to see whatever they're doing in game 3 in particular. That was where they had the mentality was against them, the actual scoreline of the series was against them, the momentum was against them, and they pulled it back. Game 4 was genuinely they just played their game and Hamood couldn't. I'm not sure why. Maybe just an off game, but they're struggling. Yeah. They're struggling to keep that form, and I'm not sure what they need to do to get back to it really.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of like how consistent can you be? Because I've even heard when players play ranked, right? When you're going from like diamond to champ, it's more of like, can I, hit a certain shot just more often? Now I'm getting it 8 out of 10 times instead of 4 out of 10 times. And so I think that consistency seems to be possibly lacking a little bit here on this Up the Dale side. Will they win this game? I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, right? Because we seem to be having that banter between both sides, like let's go tit for tat. And so, Mr. Messi's been stepping up. We need to see more. FDP's been doing well. We obviously need to see a little bit more. And as you mentioned, Imp having a quieter game 5 there, definitely need to try pick up the socks a little bit. So, Up the Dale with all the potential in the world, and even if they do not win this and go through to that final, we'd love to see them play obviously a lot more cups and leagues and, do things more around the European scene when it comes to Rocket League, because this is a pretty decent team. They just need to maybe find what their kinks on, what doesn't work, and work on those things, and then we can see a much more improved team for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Both teams, they have potential. It's just, I feel like in this, Hamood is showing up more. Imp with a great save, they're already good signs that he can return to his previous form, and a nice attempt for the dive there as well. That would have been absolutely great and would have paid dividends. Unfortunately not. FDP having stayed with this. What is Aero doing up there? I have no idea. Somehow reading that one 10 minutes before it started, and Mr. Messi not putting that one in. Unfortunately, Lexa able to clean it up, and now we're going to see a bit of a rushing back here from Up the Dale as they're caught in an awkward position. Not quite the best rotations, and Imp just keeping it high, keeping it in the air, and making sure that his team has time. Lexa, great goal line save. They're having to dive the backflip coming out, only just alleviating pressure. This one now just rolling around in the midfield. Up the Dale, looking dangerous in its first minute and a half.
Oh, Mr. Messi trying to take the shot on there. Yeah, FDP was kind of messing around just up in the air, not too sure what was going on there. And Hamood hasn't scored an easier goal, I think, this whole series.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really. That's how it ends for that play. Imp does get there. Unfortunately, is bumped. But you have to get that from Pauses now, because that's what he's been doing all series. It's now his bread and butter. He realized, we might actually lose this series. We might lose a couple games. Let me just go for everyone with zero regard to the game. And yet he still somehow ends up in a position where he's very relevant in the game, and it's working well with that goal. As you can see, Lexa wanting to put this one on target above the crossbar, way above actually, and Forces caught out. FDP can't get there, and Aero wants to stay with it, looking for the second touch, and that's great. Downfield, Imp maybe caught in an awkward position. Lexa up again to the corner and might be able to get the dunk instead. We're just going to see Forces put that in, and 2 minutes gone, 2 goals scored. Hamood, they're great right now. They are cruising through this game 6.
I tell you, Aero does such crazy things on the field where he's just able to find himself and get that second touch, as you mentioned, which is so beautiful. But then Hamood comes out and says, well, I'll score all the goals because Aero just wants to be flashy. Aero just wants to stand in the limelight and say, like, I'm going to do all the fancy things. I'm going to get the very beautiful redirects and I'm going to show you my aerial mechanical control and skill, which is amazing. It's really flashy and I'm loving it. Showboating to the max. But Hamood, I think, understands the assignment, knows what the objective is, Yaoxi, and is trying to close out the series to go through to this grand final.
Oh, exactly, yeah. If Hamood can win this, they're through. Up the Dale need to win 2 in a row now, and they're down. They have 2.5 minutes, even less than, to prove that they deserve to be there, because they've shown that they definitely have qualities that could compete in a grand final. But unfortunately, like you said, it's not consistent enough. We're seeing consistently 2 out of 3 players step up on that team. And I think consistently it has been FiddyP who has stepped up. So credit to him for being able to, do that 6 or 5 games in a row, 5.5, nearly 6. It is just, between Imp and Mr. Messi to consistently have that showing that makes it that makes them look like, that grand final team that they definitely have potential to be.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's kind of the case. It's definitely, who's putting their hand up in each game and who's trying to perform better. That's kind of weighing down on Up the Dell there versus it really being a 3-man team effort as Hamood tries to take another shot there. I think a hat trick is something we might be treated with here, Oxy. But Impetus taking the field down that flank, and Hamood with a decent block, Hamood as well there just to get the stop. So Hamood doing phenomenally well. I mean, they've got about a minute left to close this out and get through to the grand final. Of course, 150 euros up on the line for the winning side. Up the Dell, can they score twice in the limited time that we have left here? And they're stuck in their own corners. Mr. Messi is going to come around and a beautiful read there by Hamood gets the demo in the box as well. FiddyP out for a few seconds. And now Messi trying to play for his own corner. Arrow there with a beautiful read. They're just smothering them in their own half. FiddyP tries to pop it out. Hamood out to Arrow. Arrow's going to be there. No block by Messi. And now Impetus not able to get a touch on that ball either.
Yeah, the heads of Hamood are on a swivel. Porces gets a demo, instantly looks, can I get the spawn kill as well? Arrow going back to midfield there. That one just going to be, in a position he can sort of go for. Instantly turns. He has the boost because he has the management, and Imp looking for that flick. Unfortunately won't be in. FiddyP having to get the follow-up, but again, that's just going to cascade wide, and it's looking like Hamood can play these last few seconds on autopilot as their 2 goals up with 10 seconds left. I think we've got our second grand finalist here.
Yeah, I mean, kind of autopilot would be the way to say it, Oxy. 2-0, they've been commanding throughout this whole entire series. We've kind of seen glimpses of hope come out from this Up the Dell side, but it's nothing that's really been convincing enough to tell us that Hamood are going to be threatened. And of course, that's going to be a 4-2 win going to the side of Hamood. And they'll be going through to our grand final, and they'll be playing B plus Choke. I mean, I think a well-deserved win there, Oxy.
Definitely, yeah. Throughout that entire series, they looked like the better team. Obviously, there were points at which Up the Dale were great, and they genuinely showed, promises of being even better than I think that they actually were in that. It just, when it came down to it, they didn't quite have the composure to put it away when it needed to be, and they made some silly mistakes. Not all of them, and there were a couple of Hamood, but there were a fair few times where I think it was just the wrong rotation or being in the wrong position in general led to simply being caught out and being scored on and ultimately losing games that you really hoped they wouldn't lose.
Yeah, I mean, it was close to, I think we saw this, game 4 that Mr. Messi was popping off and scored those 2 very quick goals, that we hadn't seen him do anything. You even mentioned, outscoring the whole entire other 5 men on the field, just did phenomenal work there, but not enough at the end of the day to go through there. And of course, single E-lim, it is an unfair master, and so that's going to be Up the Dell falling down and out, and Hamood progressing through to our grand final. And we'll have that grand final for you guys shortly after this break, so please don't go anywhere.